Okay, welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. I'm here with David Schoch, who among other things is president of the Serbian Private Equity Association, which is obviously based in Serbia. So I think a lot of people on my tube are quite interested in the private equity professional associations that are out there. You know, you've got obviously the big ones like Invest Europe or like the Emerging Markets Private Equity Association. So tell me a bit about the experience of setting up a kind of smaller association in an emerging market country. What was the experience of creating the Serbian Association? How's it evolved over the years?
I think, you know, when I first got here, it was around 2007. Private equity was really kind of just getting started. There were a few funds that have done some things, but there wasn't a culture of private equity or private investment. And I think there were a handful of people. I think it was at a Euromoney conference, probably around 2010, where there was a group of people that kind of felt we needed to give private equity in the region, particularly in Serbia, a voice, and help it kind of speak through a single voice and start to communicate both to the market in terms of the funds and investors that wanted to come, and also to the companies that were looking to raise money. So it was there was a definite need, I think, on both sides, getting the investors here and also helping companies look for money. But it was very early days. There wasn't I would say, as I saw in other countries, there wasn't so much a culture of private investment, and funds here were very much viewed kind of a little bit hesitantly. People here saw private funds as something offshore in Cyprus, maybe something a bit
suspicious in some way.
Suspicious, yeah. So there was a lot of work to kind of overcome some of those preconceived notions.
So private equity is the understanding of private equity in the business culture was very limited.
Yes.
And so I suppose one of the objectives of the association is to work on that, to improve that knowledge.
We wanted to help educate people about what private equity is, about what its purpose and its function is. We also wanted to help companies. There's a big problem here that helping companies speak the language of private equity in terms of allowing them to be able to talk and interact effectively with investors, so that they can go out there and try and raise money and understand, you know, when is a good situation for private equity versus a situation where maybe that's not a good. There are certain businesses, lifestyle businesses, for example, where those people don't want to go into private equity. And there's other businesses where you've got, you know, they want to ride that rocket ship up and really build something significant that are a good candidate. So trying to help people understand, am I even a good candidate for this type of investment?
And so who are the members? How many members and who are the members of the Serbian Private Equity Association right now?
We've had, I don't know, 30 to 40 members through time. It's generally private equity funds. It's law firms, some of the consultancy firms, some of the accounting groups. So it's generally a pretty equal collection across the ecosystem of practitioners, either from the legal side, financial side, and also that are actually funds that are active in the region.
And what are the links between, say, the Serbian National Association, which yours is, of which you're president, and the neighbouring ones, like the Croatian ones or other neighbouring countries? Do you have a chance to cooperate, and is that beneficial? I hope you're enjoying this module. If you are, I'd really appreciate if you could consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks very much.
We've had a lot of interaction with the Croatian Venture Capital Association, and we've had a lot of interaction with Invest Europe, which used to be the European Venture Capital Association. So we do a project every year with Invest Europe in terms of helping them collect data and understand what's going on in the region. We've done some kind of cooperative events with the Croatian Association. So there's been a reasonable amount of cross-border cooperation.
Right, so you've got cooperation with other national associations and also with a kind of umbrella European one like Invest Europe.
Exactly.
So what would you say to, say, a private equity fund who says, well, you know, we invest in Serbia, we invest in other countries, so how many associations should I join? You know, would they join the Serbian one or just Invest Europe, or would they need to join all of them? Or is there a protocol that you can work out with Invest Europe how to sort of overcome the problem of a fund having to join 3 or 4 associations to cover their region?
That's a challenge. You know, you've got some funds that are really big. So you have, you know, the mega funds in New York or London. They're not looking to be members of individual associations. They want to be able to, they look at a deal every 12 to 18 months. They fly in, they fly back. We're still happy to interact with them. We're happy to work with them. We're happy to whether it's helping them set up meetings or answer questions. We're open to all practitioners in the space. In terms of people that are relevant for specific membership, it's generally kind of more of the regional funds and then the local funds that are here that have a presence or that are here often, that are doing deals on a regular basis. So if you're covering Europe, there's no way you're going to want to be a member of 30 associations.
Of course, yes, yes.
But for people that are focused, there are funds that are focused on the Western Balkans. There are funds that are focused in the region. For those guys, that makes sense for them to kind of drill down.
Okay, and what are do you have like regular events, like a reception or a lecture, or what kind of regular events does your association put on?
We do lectures. We have guests come in and speak. We co-sponsor conferences. We do cocktails and networking. We're focused on a couple of areas of trying to connect the community, trying to provide that single voice for the community, and at the same time trying to help with education, both in terms of helping the funds understand how to do business here, because it's a little bit different here than maybe some of the other markets they've worked in, and also helping the companies that are looking for funds understand where the funds are coming from so they can try and
That's great, that's great. And finally, final question about the association is, for somebody in a small country, maybe in the Middle East or Africa, who wants to set up an association, you having lived from the beginnings right through to some years into it, what would be your advice to maybe a group of professionals who want to set up an association, maybe in Africa or the Middle East? What would be the main challenges they would face and what main hurdles they should look forward to?
I think you essentially have to get critical mass of a core group of people that have a vested interest in private equity in general. Doesn't mean they'll have to be funds, but you need the law firms, the consultancies, the accountancy groups, the funds, and the investors, a core group of people that really want this thing to come together to promote and help nourish that environment, and they're willing to do that for the long haul. So you've got to get a core group that's really committed to making that happen.
Great. Well, thank you very much, David. It's been very interesting, and hope to see you around at the next association. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.